So LeBron James is in the news again. He opted into his contract next year. That's over $50 million for a player entering year 23. That's an astronomical amount of money for a guy who is at a crazy stage in his career. I'm impressed every year that LeBron is still able to do what he does. But the most perplexing thing to me is the statement he released after, you know, that passive aggressive statement where he said he wants to contend, he wants to compete, he wants to have a chance at championships. I don't get it, man. You're smart. You're LeBron James. You're a basketball genius. You have to know that a team paying you $50 million at this stage of your career, they're not a contender. They're not championship material. There's just no way to build the rest of the roster around you when you're entering this stage of your career and you're making this amount of money. You look at the Lakers roster, between him and Luka, that's $90 million. Then you got Austin Reeves, you got Rui Hachimura. You know, they're kind of capped out where they're at. By DFS opting out, it did open up the mid-level exception for them to use. But even still, man, you're not going to get a great center with that. You're bargain bin shopping at that point. You're looking at DeAndre Ayton if you're lucky, Brook Lopez, Clint Capella, you know, bargain bin centers, maybe Al Horford. I don't really know. But there's Laker fans out there who think, well, we can just trade Austin Reeves and go get a center. Look around the league. Who is that center? The Minnesota Timberwolves are not trading you Rudy Gobert for Austin Reeves. The Miami Heat are not trading you Bam Adebayo for Austin Reeves. It's just not happening. So if you're LeBron James, you opted into this contract and now you want to put pressure on them to make moves to win, ask yourself, how can they do that with you getting paid that contract? You're just not the LeBron James that you used to be. What I don't understand, and far be it from me to ever tell a man to take less money than he's worth, but you're LeBron James. You've made over $1 billion. Why are you opting into $50 million? If you really cared about rings, if you really cared about winning, sign the mid-level, give the Lakers the room to go out and properly fill this roster around you and Luka. But just seems like a selfish move to me to opt into $50 million and then still demand them to make other moves around you when your $50 million severely limits their cap space to do so. And then the other aspect about this that doesn't make sense to me is now there's trade speculation, because the way that statement was worded certainly sounded like a passive-aggressive trade demand. And a lot of people are throwing Cleveland out there as the option for him because he's LeBron James and he is Cleveland. But to me, this makes no sense for the Cleveland Cavaliers. You've spent the last, 8 years since he left trying to move on, trying to get out from under his shadow. And the last couple of years, you've actually successfully done it. You've got fans to buy into Donovan Mitchell, to buy into Darius Garland, Evan Mobley, Jarrett Allen. You got a contending team, a championship caliber team. Why would you bring LeBron James back and throw them back under that shadow? And he's not the piece that's going to take you over the top and make you a champion, especially if you have to sacrifice Garland or Allen. So LeBron James, man, it just don't make sense to me.